Hi there, everyone. Happy Friday. So, I'm just finishing up my life coaching series, and today I have Linda Drzowicz from WordSense Studio who's going to be joining me on this live video. So, I'm just going to take a minute and invite Linda now, and we'll start just chatting with her about what she does as a life coach and how she started as a life coach. And so we'll just kind of wait for her to hop on here. And just so you know, I will be sharing this interview as well as my interview with Louise Neal on that I did on Tuesday. I'll be sharing that on IGTV, hopefully by beginning of next week, so you can kind of watch them back to back. So Linda's request is in. She's just going to join us. Oh, I see there's a few people joining us. This is great. Good to see everyone. So there's Linda. Hi, Linda.
Hi, Christina.
So I just did a little brief introduction of your name and that you're from WordSense Studio and that you're a life coach. And I was just kind of telling people that this is the bookend of a series I was doing this week on life coaching, just so people get a sense of what life coaching is, what we do. And so I'm super glad to have you here. Linda and I are also part of the coaching support group. I was mentioning that Louise is also part of this group. And so Linda's been a great support to me. Personally and professionally, so it's really great to have you on here, Linda. So I'm going to just let you share with everyone a little bit about who you are as a life coach and how you got started life coaching.
How I got started and who I am. Well, first off, I'm really happy to be here because I am so excited to be a part of the Winnipeg's community of women entrepreneurs, especially women coaches. It's a real passion of mine to be in a community and having support. So this is just perfect. I'm so happy to be a part of this and happy to just see somebody else promoting coaching is just a thrill. So that said, How I got started. I got started as I'm sure a lot of coaches and a lot of women in business do, in a meandering way,
Yeah, that's so true.
Boom, I'm going to be a life coach, put up my shingle, there we go. It came about in a little meandering way. I started off as, I branded as a writer last year. So I opened my business as, doing writing and editing last year. And I was very focused on writing articles and being just kind of immersing myself in that field, which I still do. Writing is still such a big part of coaching because you're writing a blog, you're writing Instagram posts. It's such a part of it. But I found that I was really intrigued by the business end of writing and that all of the things that you have to do to become a business owner, for me, brought up everything as a woman in business. It brought up my procrastination. It brought up my perfectionism. It brought up my self-doubt. It brought up my how do you put a price tag on your services, seeing what you have to offer as being of value. And so I began to start to shift into what I was doing as simply writing, but I began to shift to wanting to offer the coaching end to other women in business so that they could look at these mindsets that were holding them back. And what I discovered was these were very, very common mindsets. Most of the women in business that I know, face this on a daily basis of, how to deal with all of these different challenges. So it got me very interested in the business coaching end of life coaching. And I began to just focus more of my writing and my speaking and my coaching on that particular side of things.
Yeah.
That's
Fantastic.
that's how I kind of meandered into it. Now, I know you meandered into yours. You came through more conflict resolution, right?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I meandered. I would still say in some days I feel like I'm still meandering quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it is about the journey, right? But very much like you, I found and I know we've talked about this before, that this people pleasing and the perfectionism, the self judgment, the self doubt, like that's such a huge part of, I think a human being's journey. But I think as women, especially women in business, we have a very specific way of interacting in the world, socially and culturally. So I think that really does impact us and how we show up in the world. And so, yeah, I so resonate with that. And I think it's so important what you're doing, helping women that are trying to elevate themselves in the business world and doing it in a way that feels really comfortable, or maybe not comfortable, that's not always the greatest word, but in a way that resonates with who they are, right? And not in a way that's like, okay, we're competing and I'm going to make myself leap over you to get to where I'm going, but how can we use our power together, right? So power with rather than power over. So, and I think you just represent that so well, like how you approach life coaching and how you approach other women that you interact with. And I think that's just such a great model for us as women to see, because I don't know that we've always had those role models in our life. And I think it's really key. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, collaboration and cooperation and communication, community, those are all really important values that I hold very dearly and that I want to promote in my business. And I want to, as you said, I want women to be able to be themselves, but as you say, challenge themselves a bit out of their comfort zones. That's that's the necessary part of the journey. Is if you're trying something new, you've got to challenge yourself. You've got to do things that you've never done before. I was just at the Winnipeg Art Gallery this afternoon for it's a craft show that's on. Big craft show, all artists and artists from Nunavut, and it's fantastic. Everyone should go. And I was talking to this one woman, and she was saying she was very out of her comfort zone for coming here. She was not used to the crowd. She was quite overwhelmed, but you could see she was really excited that she had made this effort, because she was selling all of her art, and she was just glowing that she was so excited that she had made this leap. And so I really, both of those things are very important to me, the collaboration and the cooperation, and then also encouraging women to get out of their comfort zones and forward.
Break down their own barriers, right? Like, because we do, as you were saying, with that people pleasing or the self-judgment, like we create our own barriers so many times. And I think it shows up so much in the business world for us, like how, and for me, when I'm coaching women in that are maybe struggling with realities or relationships in the workplace, we come up against our mindset so often and what we think is possible for our lives. And so I think it's just so fantastic that you're encouraging women the way that you do. So I think I'm going to go off script a little bit and ask, but I know you're good with this. Well, the thing that you mentioned that kind of triggered in something in me that I think is so key is your writing background. So when you're coaching women, so is that something you bring into your life coaching? Like, do you help women, business owners, kind of figure out what they want to say, like help them with content that way, or how does that show up for you in your life coaching?
It's the writing is, I think, such a key piece for women in business. One of the things that I've heard a lot just lately is women saying, oh my gosh, all of the content I have to get out the door by being a business owner. That is such a part of the marketing strategies these days is, of course, the social media posts and the blog posts and the podcasts and the live videos. So you're content every single day, basically.
Yeah.
And it can get so overwhelming. You know, you
Yes.
don't know, you know, you wake up in the morning going, I know I need to get something out, but what do I do? When do I do it? So I definitely help women planning their day in terms of being able to break down their long-term goals into a daily to-do list that is doable. And I see that very often with a lot of us, when we think of making a to-do list, we confuse our goals with our to-do list. So we kind of, we make this to-do list that is what I've heard it called as a perfectionist fantasy. You write down your to-do list as like, you know, rebrand myself and, you know, and do my taxes and, you know, pick up the dry cleaning, right? You know, like we've got these.
And that's just in one day. Yeah.